Some beautiful weather for a Monday. Temperatures into the 50s.
Interesting.
Now, your first weather. Now, your first weather.
Hey, we did see some pretty nice conditions across much of northeast Arkansas late this afternoon. A little sunshine out there. Temperatures back into the mid to upper 50s. Even some areas hitting 60 degrees late this afternoon. But our next storm system gets ready to come in for a late Tuesday. And that means some scattered showers and thunderstorms around, which could last into a middle part of the work week. We'll talk more about that with your full forecast coming up. But first, your local news starts now.
Northeast Arkansas News is brought to you by Glenn Sain.
Good evening and thank you for tuning in to Northeast Arkansas News at 6. I'm Meredith Mitchell.
And I'm Josh Egbert. Tomorrow is the final day to voice your opinion for a local school district's millage increase. Greene County Tech Schools asking for a 4.95 millage increase. The additional funds would be used for a variety of projects, including 30,000 square feet in classroom space, a new animal barn, and a baseball and softball complex, as well as 2 new school resource officers. GCT tried to pass a millage increase in September of 2017. Despite it failing, Superintendent Gene Weeks is hopeful this time around.
We know that it's a challenge to pass a millage. We hope that we have given our voters a good plan to vote for, and hopefully we've done a good job of educating what this is going to do for our kids and our future of our schools.
Polls will be open from 7:30 in the morning till 7:30 at night tomorrow at Center Hill Christ of Church in Paragould.
Paragould city officials are in the process of condemning several residential properties that have become nuisances as well as threats to public safety. Mayor Mike Gaskill and the city of Paragould's Code Enforcement Department identified 4 houses across the city that will be condemned and could face demolition. Those properties are located along East Emerson Street, Highway 135 North, West Thompson Street, and East Poplar Street. Those houses are abandoned, run down, and dire need of repair. Code Enforcement says this increases the likelihood that vandalism and drug activity will increase in those neighborhoods. Robert Anderson's family lives across the street from one of the abandoned properties. He says he's concerned about the activities he's seen take place.
I've seen people walk up and go inside when the door was open and stuff, digging through the stuff outside, picking stuff up and carrying it off, you know, and I just think that it's not safe for kids around here.
Owners of the condemned properties have 30 days to make changes to their homes before the city of Paragould takes further action.
The Mission Outreach of Northeast Arkansas could be receiving much needed repairs this summer through a community development block grant. The Outreach is one of a few organizations that qualifies for Arkansas's Community Development Block Grant. Now, this grant allows a maximum of $200,000. The facility is over 30 years old and is in desperate need of new plumbing, ceiling, particle boards, and flooring in the men's and women's dorms. Development Director Jackie Ross says staff have torn out some of the flooring, but repairs are at a standstill until additional funding comes through. Ross, though, optimistic about its approval.
This building catches fire and it's got 45 to 60 people sleeping in here. Somebody may not make it out. We do have a fire alarm, but we really need a sprinkler system to go along with it.
The Mission Outreach of NEA will likely be approved for the grant funding in July. Once that happens, staff says they look forward to making the repairs as soon as possible.
The national research program All of Us Journey is returning to Jonesboro. All of Us is trying to get 1 million people to be a part of their study to improve precision medicine. Precision medicine focuses on making customized treatments for each individual to better treat them. All of Us will have representatives at Jonesboro's El Centro Hispano all week. They will have an interactive and educational mobile unit as well as local nurses to help sign you up for the study. The program is free and can help underrepresented communities be seen.
Would you like to improve your family's health? Would you like to improve your community's health? The only way we can get there is by doing the research, by doing the study. If there hasn't been enough studies done on your community, this is a good opportunity for you to be represented. So it's open for everyone.
All of Us mobile unit will be at El Centro Hispano starting tomorrow until Friday. They will be open from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. every day.
Well, DNA home test kits can reveal ancestry and even give some customers genetic information connected to their health.
But the test can also expose surprising family secrets, including unknown relatives and biological parents. Tony DeCoppel reports.
This is my dad and I in high school.
Katie Canning never exactly looked like her parents.
My mom would tell me when I was growing up, oh, you're part Native American, you're Native American.
But when she finally took a home DNA test about 5 years ago, she got a lot more truth than she expected. She's part Jamaican for starters, and her biological father is not the man who raised her, but a traveling guitarist named Baron Duncan.
A Jamaican touring guitarist?
Yeah.
That is
crazy.
Awesome.
So crazy.
I found my birth mom with 23andMe, just to get to hold her again.
Canning is one of millions who have turned to home DNA tests and one of many who have had their sense of identity shaken by the results.
Activating your test.
23andMe and Ancestry DNA both warned customers that they could receive shocking information, but neither company offers genetic counseling as part of their standard package.
People are smart and capable. They can make sense of it.
Emily Drabant Conley is Vice President of Business Development at 23andMe. She believes customers can handle genetic information just as they do the results of other home exams.
People take a pregnancy test at home, and if it's positive, which is significant information, they then take the next step of talking to a doctor, and we think that DNA tests are very much in the same vein.
Ancestry DNA says it takes the potential impact of complex discoveries very seriously and has a team available for people with more sensitive queries. But DNA tests also raise questions about privacy. 23andMe says it won't share customer medical data with third parties unless given explicit consent. And the company says it uses two-factor authentication and encryption to protect genetic results and has never been hacked. But privacy expert Peter Swire says just one breach would be hard to fix.
If you have a credit card stolen, you cancel it and you get a new credit card in 2 days. If your DNA gets revealed to the world or to the hacker, it's really hard to get new DNA. Just doesn't happen.
Canning is still working through the meaning of her own results, but she is sure of one thing.
My dad's my dad. You know, he'll walk me down the aisle one day.
Katie told us her biological dad died before she could meet him, but her mother did come clean about him in the end. 23andMe says it loves stories like hers, by the way, because it underscores that we all have DNA from all over the world, and we all are immigrants from somewhere. Tony DeCoppel, CBS News, New York.
Well, still ahead on Northeast Arkansas News, Mark fills us in on A-State men's basketball and their split season.
And today, President Trump is delivering his budget proposal for the southern border wall to Congress. What that 2020 plan includes.
And did have some clouds around earlier today, but then some sunshine this afternoon helped warm us into the upper 50s. We had a high of 57 here in Jonesboro, a normal high this time of year, 59. It looks like we'll keep the milder weather around the next several days, but increase the rain chances, especially by Wednesday. We'll talk more about that when we come back.
Now, Northeast Arkansas weather.
And welcome back, everyone. A happy Monday to us. Had some clouds, even a little bit of light rain around earlier this morning. Most of that rain stayed down near Interstate 40, so a little bit further to our south. But sunshine reached out this afternoon, and that sunshine actually warmed us up into the mid-50s, upper 50s, even some low 60s, which is about where we should be this time of year, even a few degrees above normal for this time of year as well. Your high temperatures across the area, then 57 in Newport, 55 in Walnut Ridge, 60 in Batesville, 61 down in Searcy, 62 in West Memphis, and 55 in Corning late this afternoon. Our evening forecast does keep a few clouds out there. We, of course, sunset is actually at 7:07 tonight. So yeah, get out and enjoy that extra hour of that daylight. 51 degrees at 7 o'clock. And then we're back in the mid to upper 40s here as we head into the evening hours or overnight hours, with mainly cloudy skies starting to increase. I think we'll notice those clouds increasing by early tomorrow morning as temperatures drop back into the low to mid 40s as you wake up on your Tuesday. So here's your hour by hour forecast again for Tuesday morning. Should have a few clouds around, maybe a few peaks of some clearing skies as well. 42 as you wake up around 6 o'clock in the morning, 44 by 9 o'clock. We should get back in the 50s, probably looking for like mid to upper 50s in most areas. May notice the winds increasing a little bit with some gusty winds as our next system gets organized off to our west. That system will bring the clouds in. I can see a mainly cloudy sky, may bring a few scattered showers to our area as well. Majority of the rain will hold off to our west, but wouldn't be surprised to see a few scattered showers in our forecast as we get into late in the day on Tuesday. Now, really better chance of rain coming for Wednesday, but it looks like some milder weather coming for Wednesday as well, with highs pushing close to 70 in some areas. So our weather notes just keep a chance of some showers around for your Tuesday. Again, otherwise just cloudy skies in the forecast. Temperatures mid to upper 50s. Do have that threat of some stronger storms once again for Wednesday as that cold front kind of swings through the area. It does bring a lot of moisture back with it. It does bring those temperatures to getting a little bit warmer as our highs again should push close to 70 in some areas. So that with that, all those ingredients coming together and a cold front could be seeing some strong to possibly severe weather. Right now looking like mainly a marginal risk. It'll be very pretty much widely scattered threat of any type of severe weather, but again, damaging winds, heavy rain, and hail, the primary threats with any storms that do push through Wednesday, and that could last into early Wednesday night as well. Once that system moves on by, the winds will pick up. We'll have breezy conditions, and actually have those on Wednesday, but keep those windy weather on Thursday as well. Should get a lot of sunshine, and temperatures actually stay pretty nice on even Thursday with highs close to 70 in some areas. But a little bit cooler weather, but dry weather coming back just in time for the weekend as you get ready for that St. Patrick's Day holiday weekend. Does look like we'll see dry conditions both Saturday and Sunday, but temperatures will get a little bit cooler, probably back into the 50s in most areas. Here's what it looks like for your Tuesday. Again, a majority of it will stay mainly dry as we head through the northeast Arkansas on Tuesday, but see that rain really not too far away from us. Northwest Arkansas, Missouri, even back into parts of Oklahoma, seeing at least that threat of rain. Again, heavier rain over in parts of eastern Oklahoma and over into parts of Texas as well. But as this whole system continues to make its way into our area, it does bring that chance of at least some severe weather back to the region, or at least some strong thunderstorms as we head into late Tuesday night and mainly for us through Wednesday and Wednesday night. So as that system kind of moves through, again, the area shaded in red is where we could be seeing some of that severe weather, or at least that risk anyway, of damaging winds and large hail. The tornado threat does look like it'll stay over in parts of Texas, so on Tuesday, kind of lose some of the dynamics as it moves into our area on Wednesday, but could still see some gusty winds along with it. So future radar for tonight, again, not really showing much happening tonight. See some moisture kind of gathering and trying to make its way into our area early tomorrow morning, so maybe a few scattered showers in parts. I think most of that will stay to our west, though, but as we head to the afternoon hours, yeah, a few spotty showers possible. Here it is, 6 o'clock on Tuesday. Majority of the rain to our north or to our north and east. Going to watch the next system. It'll kind of organize itself down here in parts of Texas, Oklahoma. Here comes that cold front. Wednesday, 7 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, some yellows and reds. That'll kind of come through the area by Wednesday afternoon. That's where we could see not only the potential for some heavier rain, but again, maybe seeing some gusty winds along with that. But very mild weather in the forecast the next several days. For tonight, 42, mostly cloudy. East-northeast winds around 5 to 10 miles per hour. Here's your 7-day forecast. Looks like a decent day for your Tuesday. Again, maybe a few showers around, but 56. Even warmer by Wednesday, 68. As the high temperature, strong to possibly severe weather late in the day with some scattered rain showers coming through. Another nice day on Thursday, maybe a little windy, but 67. We do drop back into the 50s though. As we head to the weekend, again, St. Patrick's Day weekend, looking like we'll be in the mid to upper 50s, but sunshine and dry weather, which should last into early next week. So we, of course, yesterday we set the clock ahead 1 hour, and now our next thing to look forward to, of course, spring. Next Wednesday, the 20th is when that gets here. So have a little more spring-like weather in the next 7 days. Don't see a lot of big, cool temperatures coming. Looks like more warm weather for us.
All right. Thanks so much, Chris. Stay with us. There's more to come here on Northeast Arkansas News.
President Trump demands more money for a border wall in his budget to Congress. I'm Mola Lengi on Capitol Hill, where a new fight over the new budget could be brewing.
President Trump unveiled his 2020 budget proposal today. The $4.7 trillion spending blueprint includes $8.6 billion for a border wall, and it sets up a new showdown with Congress.
Mola has the latest from Capitol Hill.
Monday, asking for $8.6 billion in new funding for his long-promised border wall.
He thinks it's important to secure the country. It's one of his most basic constitutional responsibilities.
The funds would go towards building more than 700 miles of barrier along the U.S.-Mexico border. Cuts to domestic programs, including Medicaid, would pay for it.
We need to continue to secure the country. We need to continue to secure the border. We're not going to be bashful about that.
Democratic leaders are already pushing back. In a statement, Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer called the proposal a, quote, gut punch to the American middle class and a handout to the wealthiest few. President Trump's pursuit of border wall funding led to a record-breaking partial government shutdown earlier this year, something that could happen again in the fall. Senate Republicans are set to vote this week on a resolution passed in the House blocking the national emergency the president declared to finance the wall.
Let's not forget the only reason he has the authority to call a national emergency is because Congress gave him the right to do so. They failed to do their job. The president's fulfilling his duty.
In a tweet earlier, President Trump urged Republicans to stand with him, saying in part, it's about border security and the wall, stopping crime, drugs, etc. Mola Lenghi, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
The $4.7 billion budget blueprint also includes more money for infrastructure spending and raises overall defense spending to $750 billion. The plan would not eliminate the record deficit for 15 years.
Well, stay with us. Sports is up next.
Hey, good evening. I'm Mark Edwards. We'll begin with some men's hoop today. Let's be honest, hadn't been the best season for the Red Wolves. They finished the year 7-11 in league play. One of those 11 losses was Saturday night's overtime loss to the Raging Cajuns, 90-87. The Red Wolves split the season series with Louisiana this year, but the rubber match still can happen. So now what? Well, the guys are now in the Big Easy, ready for Tuesday night's matchup with South Alabama, a team they lost to earlier this year. But a win means ASU versus Louisiana, Part 3 on Thursday. Meanwhile, Brian Boyer and the ASU women on the East Coast tonight, taking on Coastal Carolina. They may be young, but boy, they are ready. 4 of their top 5 scorers in the first or second year of Division I basketball. Here's the good news. Head coach Brian Boyer is in his 20th season, so you can expect the veteran coach to have a few tricks up his sleeve. That game just about to get underway. Hey, we'll stay indoors. Head to the other side of the state. Lady Razorbacks track team #1 in the preseason. And that's the way they finished Sunday in Birmingham, Alabama. Lexi Jacobus earned back-to-back titles in the pole vault competition. It was their 3rd national championship. This was their 2nd indoor championship. The first one, of course, came in 2015. Arkansas will make its outdoor debut in 2 weeks at the Arkansas Spring Invitational, March 22nd through the 23rd. At the John McDonnell Field in Fayetteville. All right, close, but no cigar for the Memphis Express. The Express suffered their 3rd loss of the season at the hands of the Atlanta Legends. Zach Mettenberger was inconsistent, but the Express showed glimpses of greatness. He threw the first pick of the season, and it couldn't come at a worse time. The Express still winless in the East Division. They'll play Salt Lake Stallions next, which is a team which is in last place in the West Division. Meanwhile, the Pittsburgh Steelers have pulled the trigger on an Antonio Brown trade, sending the disgruntled All-Pro receiver to the Oakland Raiders for a 3rd and 5th round pick. Late Saturday night, per the Browns' request, the Raiders will restructure the 30-year-old's current deal. He will now make $50 million over the next 3 seasons, $30 million of that guaranteed. He had no guaranteed money left on his 3-year deal with the Steelers. A trade of Brown will be made official when the new league year opens on Wednesday. Brown was caught at least 100 balls for at least 1,200 yards with 8 or more touchdowns per year in the last 6 seasons. That's crazy. The Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series was in Phoenix this past weekend for the Ticket Guardian 500 late race battle with about 20 laps to go. And, of course, Ryan Blaney and Kyle Busch decided the outcome. Busch would get the win, become the 4th different driver in 4 races to clinch a playoff spot. The win for Busch was his 199th across the top 3 touring NASCAR series. They'll pack up and head for California next week. Their third week of a trip in the West Coast. Meanwhile, soccer fan in England facing 14 weeks behind bars after this. Look at that. Yikes. Running on the field and punching a player. Man, that hurt. That was definitely outrageous, and it got an outrageous fine and a 10-year ban from UK football matches. His name, Jack Grealish. And Grealish was able to pop back up, though the guy that got hit that was onto his feet a few seconds later as the man was ushered off, blowing kisses to the crowd. Not good for that guy. Hey, stay close. We're back in a minute.
And taking a final look at our 7-day forecast, could see a few showers around for your Tuesday. 56 the high temperature, though mild weather gets here Wednesday, but that comes with some more strong thunderstorms, especially for the afternoon hours. 68 though the high temperature is going to turn a little windy. Even outside the thunderstorm chance, you'll probably see some gustier winds on Wednesday, which will hold into Thursday as well. 67, mostly sunny skies. So actually Thursday looks like the best day of the whole week. Do drop back into the 50s though once that front does kind of swing through the area. Friday, Saturday, low 50s. A little bit of sunshine in the forecast right now. St. Patrick's Day on Sunday, 57. Partly to mostly sunny skies. So it looks like we'll at least stay dry through the weekend and into early next week with highs in the mid-50s.
All right, thanks, Chris.
And here's a look at what's coming up tonight on Northeast Arkansas CBS at 7 o'clock in the neighborhood, 7:30 Man with a Plan, then Magnum PI, and Bull at 9.
That's all followed by your Northeast Arkansas News at 10. And we will see you again for your Northeast Arkansas News Fox at 9 o'clock. Have a great night. Family Feud coming your way next.
Follow us online, like us on Facebook, and visit our website, kjnvtv.com.